Good evening, everybody. This is Thor Young with Bear Bull Traders, and I just want to do a quick recap for you on my KHC trade today. If you've been tuned into our channel, you've already seen a really solid KHC trade today by Andrew, and I just wanted to go over why I took it, because Andrew and I, although we both had a really great result with KHC, we took KHC very differently. And I want to kind of give you an idea of kind of the different process I was using versus what he was using. So first thing first, KHC was on my watch list because Norman Carlos told me it should be. No, I'm just kidding. But it was on our watch list this morning, so let's thank those guys. Norm, Carlos, great job doing the pre-market show today. KHC was lit. Now, why I want to show you how good of a job they did, before I get into the particulars of why I took it and why you should tune into the pre-market show, are these levels. All right, so if you look at my daily chart here, you can see that I had quite a run on KHC today. All right, held a little bit for a good portion of the day, so I had a great run on it. So now, however, before I get crazy, I want to show you why these levels from Carlos and Norm are so important. I want you to see all of these levels that I have marked that we are going over with in the chat room. Now, take a look at this. All right, let me go to my 5-minute chart on the same thing and zoom out. All right, look at this. All right. That's my first scale there in case we broke back. Look up here, I have partials here, partials here, partials here. Look, topped right off of the top of this level here, held this level as a bottom. I mean, came up to this level. I mean, it's just insane how many of these levels are just spot on to where the action is going on and pivoting around. So if you guys aren't using the pre-market and really paying attention to what they're talking about when they're pulling out these levels, people trade off of these levels, especially trend traders and swing traders and longer term holders. So Carlos giving you these levels give you a lot to work with. So off to my 1-minute chart. Let me show you what happened on KHC. So KHC, obviously, we had a nice gap up on some good news for KHC, which it's been working with a little bit. So I was really long biased this morning, and I don't mean that in a bad bias. I just mean in the fact that I really thought it was going up. And the reason why, and I was calling it out in the chat room this morning for everybody, was that if you were looking around here, we're holding under VWAP here. All right, so this is, the 30-20 area, up at 30-26, and then up at 30-40, and then all the way up to 31. There were just tons of asks sitting out there, real large orders stacked up in large numbers at all these critical levels. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be a really good opportunity for more or less what I would consider to be a falling angel play. Now, when you're doing it, normally falling angels are using the VWAP as support. So I didn't use the VWAP as support, but I've done a fallen angel this way a few different times with a lot of success. So basically what I'm using for support instead of VWAP is $30. So what I wanted to see happen was I wanted a sell off away from VWAP, come down to a level hold, and then I'm going to be looking at the L2 here for an indication that it's going to start going back up. Because with a stock this strong, that's gapped up with really good news, a solid catalyst, the expectation would be for it to have a hard sell-off and then start gaining ground after that. And that's exactly what happened here. So the stock kind of pressed down. It opened weak. It pressed all the way down through $30. As soon as it wicked back towards $30, I went ahead and I took my entry into the position. Now, even with a stock like KHC getting in on this, although it is a riskier move in the concept of you have a high probability for getting stopped out, it's not risky in the fact that there's not a lot you need to wait for in order to get stopped out. So this isn't one you're going to hold for a long time. You're either going to get rewarded or you're going to lose a couple of bucks and then move on and get into your next trade. And that's why I like these. So I went in here at 29.95.96 and my breakout was the loss of 29.90. So 5-cent risk, I can risk $50 on this trade, 50 to 100 if I have slippage easily. So I went ahead and loaded up strong, 1,000 shares on this trade opening range. Got into it right there. I loved how strong the asks were, and there were plenty of them, and the bids just disappeared. in a bad way. They were all just shoved up here, just starting to eat the price, and you could tell all the big orders were all coming in right at the price. And then over to the right here on my filtered out level 2, there just started to become these really big prints, which you can't see now because I've logged out and logged in since then. But there were just these big prints that started to come out on it, and I knew we were headed up. So here I am, long in the position, went up, took a partial at VWAP, held for a little bit, got another partial as it popped up, and then just started taking partials as we went up. And at this point, I mean, it never came back to $30. Popped down to my 5-minute chart. Here you go. We just all went up and up and up. So by the time I got to here, I was done. I was definitely a profit target, so I figured, hey, I'm going to hang on to this last 20-30%, couple hundred shares, and just see what I can do out of it. It went up here. It topped at like 32.20, pulled back, came back up towards 32.20, but it just, there was a lot of bids, and it just did not look great. And I was out running around and doing a few things, so at this point, so I was on my mobile phone. And I just decided, you know what, I think 32 is a great time to get out, so I let it pump a little bit, and I got out at 32.10. It had a nice little breakup after that, and it got as high as almost 32.50. But for the most part, I mean, I really felt like my out on that was really perfect because, you know, didn't have to hold all day. Could have gotten a little bit more of a run up, like I said, up to like 32, shy of 32.50, but you know, left 30 cents on the table, but come on. I mean, that's what it is. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy my trade here on KHC. Make sure when you're looking at the morning, you got a strong stock, you got something looking on. Pay attention to that level 2. It's going to give you a ton of clues. This was the only stock that I had on my morning watch list because of those large asks that were sitting out there on the order. So for me, it was just a matter of time. I wanted it to pull back so I could get a low entry and really push the position, and I got a great rip out of the whole thing. I think my total risk was 5 cents, as I stated before, and I went from 29.98 all the way up to 32.20. So that's quite a run on a 5-cent risk. So hope you guys are all having a great day. Hope you all closed out green as well. Thanks.